Josiah, this is TNA World Championship.
So, tough start. We got Kurt Angle versus Sting.
You're right, that is a tough start. They Kurt Angle, but I mean Sting's an all-time. I mean they're both all-time greats realistically.
Absolutely. Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. Another tough one.
Oh my goodness, Samoa Joe, because he's a homegrown talent.
I feel it. Samoa Joe versus Mick Foley.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles.
Personal preference, Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe versus Rob Van Dam.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe versus Mr. Anderson.
Samoa Joe.
Fair enough. Samoa Joe versus James Storm.
Okay, I like the Cowboy, but the Samoan submission machine still reigns.
That makes sense since his reign was 5 seconds.
Yes.
Samoa Joe versus Bobby Roode.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe versus Austin Aries.
Haha, this is a Ring of Honor Clash of Titans. I'm going to stick with Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe versus Bully Ray.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe versus Chris Sabin. L. Sabin?
Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. This ain't the tag division.
Yeah, fair enough. Samoa Joe versus Magnus.
Okay. Nick Aldis. Samoa Joe retains.
Samoa Joe versus Eric Young, world-class maniac.
Yeah. Although at the time, this is him being a knockoff.
Yeah, this is knockoff Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
Yes.
Samoa Joe retains.
I'm about to say, he did have a world-class maniac.
That is correct,
so
yeah.
good.
Which is good times. Good times.
Indeed. Samoa Joe versus Bobby Lashley, or Lashley, as he was in TNA.
Bobby Lashley is the better TNA World Champion. He had multiple reigns. At one time, he held every title conceivable. Yep. I want to say Bobby Lashley.
That's valid. Let's see. Bobby Lashley versus Ethan Carter III.
Oh my goodness. I love Derek Bateman. I love EC3, and I love Michael Hutter. But is Dixie's nephew a better representative of TNA than Bobby Lashley? Yes, EC3 is my definitive TNA champion.
Wow. EC3 versus Matt Hardy?
EC3.
EC3 versus Drew Galloway.
Oh, okay. Only because it's not a WWE run. We're not going by that criteria. EC3.
EC3 versus Eddie Edwards.
EC3. The reason this video is going out is because I wrote a comic book, BC Brute, and a graphic novel, Everlasting Survivors. Follow the link to get your hands on those. Part 2 coming next week.